So spend the money. Fuck.
Yep.
A lot of people don't want to spend money and they don't want to invest in their business.
No.
Yeah.
And they're worried about $300 a month because like my car payment's fucking $280
Yeah,
in my Kia.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, look, if you want to drive a Mercedes, you want to drive a McLaren, you want to drive a Lambo, you have to invest the money.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's going to
for
come
sure.
back to you.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Austin Lewis here, sitting next to my partner, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Austin Zaback here. And today's guest is Karl Freund. Now, obviously, you guys have no idea, or maybe you do have an idea of who that is, but this is a real estate badass entrepreneur. Super gangster is really what that's the first thing that came to my mind, man. Just a stud, overall stud.
Thank
Karl,
you. Thank
dude,
you.
We appreciate you being here,
bro.
brother.
I'm blushing, man. That feels good.
Yeah.
I need you to like come out on showings with me and
Yeah,
shit.
for sure.
And just make me feel that good.
Just
all
do
the
that
time.
right there. Just edify right before
absolutely.
you're going to go on a listing appointment. Just, hey, here's Karl Freund. Okay, here. You know
Dude,
what I
my
mean?
ego is
Yeah.
fucking huge.
Yeah. I
for
love
sure.
it, man.
I love it, dude.
it.
Sweet deal. Well, I'm excited for this show, man. Austin and I we were just chopping it up this actual last weekend. We're like, dude, you know, we just had John Malott, if you're familiar with that incredible individual.
Absolutely.
You know, absolute stud. We just interviewed him actually before this, so it's going to be super cool. He
Yeah.
was just like, dude, let's get a real estate badass in here. And we're like, I'm like, dude, who do you think? He's like, dude, let's get Karl on
Yes.
here, bro.
Thank you
Yep.
for thinking.
You know
of
what
me.
I'm
Appreciate
saying?
that.
So
Means a lot.
I'm excited for this episode, just because, again, like Austin said, we have a lot of real estate entrepreneurs that follow us.
Tons.
And want to get into the industry or are super curious about the industry. And so this is going to be a super cool episode, man. I'm excited about this.
And if you haven't already, man, subscribe, okay? Like the video, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, podcast, iTunes,
Something.
Stitcher, where are we at?
Anywhere
else?
You know what I mean?
Just like it, heart it,
Give
you
us
know,
a
whatever
review.
you can do, okay? That's all we ask for.
Stay till the very end
Stay
of
to
this.
the end of the video. It's going to be a great video.
Yeah.
And Karl, dude, what I know you for, okay, and I've known you for a long time, actually.
Long time, actually, yeah. Couple years.
Is Kenneth James.
Yes.
You know, honestly, that's what I know you for, which is incredible, right? So Kenneth James Realty, for those of you guys that don't know, brokerage, he owns a brokerage. You're the broker of the brokerage, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. 70 agents. We just talked about it right before the show. So he's growing. The last time I talked to Karl, we stay in touch every month or two. We do deals. So we actually just did a deal 3-4 months ago. Yeah.
Clark Drive.
Yeah, Clark.
Turned out really well.
Yeah.
Too, by the way.
Okay, good.
Thank you for
good.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%,
Sick.
dude. So
Yeah.
we did a deal together a little while ago, you know, but guys, he had like 50 agents then. He's got 70 now. He's growing, okay? But that's all I actually really know you for, you know, other than Airbnbs. Okay, so I know you own some Airbnbs.
Yep.
And so you're obviously a real estate investor aside from owning the brokerage. But let's kind of dive into what else is there? Is that all, you know, what kind of does your life look like right now? And, you know, just kind of
Dude,
whatever.
It's just constant chaos.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it that way.
Yeah.
It makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Airbnbs keep me really fucking busy. If you're thinking about buying an Airbnb, don't fucking do it, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the best and the worst thing.
Especially
that'll
not
ever
during
happen to
COVID.
you. You know what? Actually, COVID kind of saved my ass.
Really?
And so what happened was we lost all of our bookings really in the middle of March. It went from 100% occupied to fucking zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. And I'm sitting here looking at it like, how the hell are we going to pay these bills? Those are big bills,
Yeah.
by the way. So we got 8 homes here in Scottsdale. And
How many?
so
8? Okay.
And they're expensive to run. You
Yeah.
know, you got to manage them, power, AC. You know, you're talking about just the freaking, you know, Cox bills is like $1,600 a month, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you got to figure out how to make all that work. And we went to zero. And I'm like, we're absolutely screwed. But what happened was a lot of people from California, they were in like a full-on lockdown.
Yeah.
And Arizona, did we ever really?
We were like
lock
an
down?
not really. No.
You know,
I mean,
like-
there was, you know, it was
Yeah,
weird.
you
It was
know, it was
weird for a
weird.
month. A month, it was weird.
Yeah.
Not even. It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everyone's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah, I think we're good.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
And
For
we're
sure.
going to pay for it. I
Yeah.
guarantee we're going to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, what happened was everybody from California, Oregon, definitely East Coast, New York. We got somebody staying in one of the places for a month now that's from New York. The lawyers from New York. And they're like, you know what? We can work from home. We don't want to do it in NYC because we can't really go out.
Yeah.
You know, let's go to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, exactly.
Weather's a hell of a lot better in
Yep.
New York. It is, you know.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
And we capitalized on that, and now we're 97.5% booked
Wow.
as of this morning.
Crazy.
And so that's incredible occupancy. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think a lot of things, what happened too was a lot of people that owned Airbnbs freaked the fuck out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they didn't have bookings for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they put them on the market and they sold them,
Sold them.
or they turned
Yeah.
them into long-term rentals.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the
Now you got to
pool of people
lease.
has shrunk up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, hey, I'll take that.
Sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Give me your business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
So we're doing real well.
So you own 8 Airbnbs that
Correct.
you rent out in Scottsdale, which we've been to one of them.
Yep.
We went and hung out by the pool one day because
pool. Got a tan
matter
out.
of fact, that was in the beginning of COVID because
Yeah,
sure
we
was.
we were
right,
raked out. We're stuck
Yeah.
at home. We're
right
like,
now
dude,
we were
right.
and we didn't have a private pool. We have a community pool, right?
Yep.
And so we were like, dude, we wanted to go get a tan on.
There it is.
And
Yeah.
and so I hit up Carl and I'm like, yo, bro, you know what I mean? Let me
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
sure.
I'm gonna send you a Venmo, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Best
He's like,
money
dude,
ever
I got
spent.
you, right?
Yeah, it worked
So
out
we went
well.
out there. We got a little JMB speaker, whatever the heck
Yeah,
it's called. and-
JBL?
JBL?
Yeah.
for sure.
And we
One
made
that
it happen,
floats
man.
in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sick, dude.
I love it. So 8 Airbnbs, 70 agents, Kenneth James Realty, growing, scaling, anything else? Or is that kind of pretty much your
I mean,
entire?
for right now, I got something I'm going to tell you guys.
Okay.
I can't release it now in public. I'll tell you
Okay,
after the
okay.
show.
Cool.
So for you
Some
guys
really cool
listening,
shit going on, and it has to do with the Airbnb business. It's kind of in the same distribution model, and so
Okay.
that's really
Sure.
going to be an add-on. But some really cool shit that you guys are going to love,
Yeah.
too, by the way.
I
So
like it.
I'll fill you in after.
Yeah,
For sure.
Cool. I love it. So let's go back in time then a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back in time to, you know, I mean, where you are. Have you always been in real estate for people listening, watching, or is it something that you more recently got into?
Kind of yes and no. So when I graduated, I went to St. Bonaventure University in New York, right? And I graduated in May of 2000. I'm old as fuck.
How old are you?
How-
we
yeah, how
were
old?
literally
Yeah.
just
We got
asking.
to know.
Yeah, so I'll be 42 in September.
We
Okay.
said 30.
I said 38.
30,
I'll
yeah,
take it
38.
all
38.
day. Take
Yeah.
it all day.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm like,
43.
Carl, I 38 at the oldest,
Bald hair,
right?
you just never
bald
know.
head, man.
Yeah.
43?
For sure.
I'll be 42 in
42.
September. Yeah.
Okay.
So graduated May 2000, and literally that was the day that the stock market blew up. All the .com shit just blew up.
Yeah.
And you know, I was going to go to work for basically a brokerage and stock brokerage.
Yeah.
And the guy called me that I had, done all the interviews with, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Look, there's no work for you. We just laid off everybody out of the office. Go
Yeah.
fuck yourself."
Yeah.
And so I'm calling everybody I know. I'm like, "Hey, I need a job. I
Yeah.
I got a job in telemarketing selling windows and siding."
Okay.
And so the guy that owned the windows and siding company owned a mortgage company. He was like, "Hey, look, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna go sell windows and siding in New York, by the way, which is one of the hardest markets you could ever telemarket in. And if you do well, we'll promote you to taking mortgage applications." I'm like, "All right, sweet." So I killed it doing windows and siding, believe it or not. I set a bunch of appointments and shit. And then what I actually wound up doing is slowly kind of progressing into mortgage applications. And I had no fucking idea what I'm doing, but I'm taking mortgage apps. I'm like, "Hey, do you want to refinance?" And people are like, "What the hell's a refinance?"
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, if your rate's 8, I can get you like 6.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
at the time, it was like the rates were like 10%.
Yeah.
And I can get them like 8.
Wow.
And they were like losing their mind.
When
Like
would that have been?
8%.
What year?
That was 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the rates were still pretty high
Interesting. Wow.
in the early
Yeah.
2000s. And
That's wild.
so then that kind of got my foot in the door for mortgages. And I went to work for a company called Conseco Finance. I don't even know if they're still around. But dude, our start rate on our first mortgage, to give perspective,
Yeah.
because people are complaining about, I
Oh,
got
yeah.
3.74%. I'm like, go eat dicks.
Yeah.
We were 12.74%.
12%.
And that was if you had good credit. If you had
Yeah.
shitty credit, it was like 15.
It's like a credit card.
Sheesh.
yeah.
You're paying 17% freaking, APR
You'll
on
never get
your
out.
Chase Sapphire.
You'll never get out from underneath it.
No,
right?
no.
And so, we were selling those mortgages, and eventually the rates came down, especially after 9/11. We really
Yep.
saw that kind of, the Fed dropped the rates down pretty low. And we
Yep.
took advantage of that, and we did a shitload of refis. So what happened was, worked for Conseco Finance, worked for a small brokerage, Jill Ramirez, if you're listening. She lives here in Scottsdale
Okay.
now. I was living in Denver at the time. And she lives in Scottsdale. She taught me a lot about the mortgage brokerage industry. And so I started my own brokerage February of 2002 when I was 23 years old.
Okay.
So in February 2002, by September 14th of 2002, I grew the company from one guy, me, to about 25 people. And that was the first year I made over $1 million.
Wow.
Sheesh.
And it went instantly.
Yeah.
Right? It was like
Unbelievable.
I was broke. Dude, I remember driving down Spear Boulevard in my 1986 Saab.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
Beautiful.
beat the fuck by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah.
Every car,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
And so I'm driving down Spear Boulevard and it ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle lane and I had to push it across traffic during rush hour traffic.
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
And I had to have somebody come fill up my tank with like a 2-gallon tank.
Yeah.
And that got me home. And I remember that moment. I'm like, I can never let that happen again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's when I actually made the decision to open up my own brokerage. I'm like, I'm never going to let my success be predicated by somebody else.
Somebody else's,
I can never fucking do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was really the mindset shift for me. So I started my own mortgage company, grew it, and then it imploded within about 2 years. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
I made a ton of money. I spent money on stupid shit. I bought every car. I bought Range Rovers,
Yep.
plural. I bought, all the sports cars.
Yep.
I bought, several motorcycles. I
Yeah.
had 3 homes. I had all this stupid shit. And you go from making $100,000 a month to very negative quickly, and you implode.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
and
for
your
sure.
ego just gets
Just knocked. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I fought depression for years.
Yeah.
So I gave up my business in 2005, which is why I actually left Denver, because I literally ran away from my problems.
Yep.
So when I moved out of Denver, I came to Scottsdale and I started back in real estate, just selling real estate this time. I did go for work for Countrywide for a little bit and Wells Fargo for a little bit, just because I had no other income, you know, and I had my license like the day I got here. And I actually quit Wells Fargo, and I got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
I really kind of took a voluntary
leave, for sure.
You know,
For
and
sure.
so I got laid off, and I started selling real estate, and then I opened up Icon Luxury Realty, actually, you know, with my buddy Nick, and you know, so he bought me out, and then I bought him back out with Kenneth James. So we have some agents that work for the firm that had been with us for, you know, 11 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting to see the evolution of that.
That's
But
really cool.
I started Kenneth James Realty 6 years ago. It would be 6 years, June 14th. So it's coming up.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my shit together for about the first 4,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then something switched where I was like, I can't sell real estate. I need to grow the brokerage. And I just made that shift, you know, and it's tough. It's very tough to scale a business properly. It's one of the hardest things you ever have to do.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, it's the toughest thing in the entire world.
Yeah. I
You
mean, I
know?
watch you guys fucking grind too, by the way.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
proud of you. For sure.
We
For
appreciate
sure.
that, bro.
Yeah,
We appreciate
likewise.
that. We're young, obviously. We started this show. We talked about it in the last episode, right? Because we wanted to interview cool people and have an excuse to be able to do so.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens then we get to share it with the world too, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our kind of our initial, that we were being selfish, but selfless all at the same time. You know,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
look,
It's fun.
yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah,
you know, so. You get your real estate license. You start selling real estate. You're brand new to the Arizona market, right?
I don't know anybody here.
You don't know anybody here. Technology is still kind of like there's
We were still using MLS books.
right.
So when I moved here from Colorado, and in Colorado we had just started using e-forms. I moved out here. We were on carbon copies, dude.
Yeah.
Carbon
Why
copies.
Arizona?
Arizona's just weird.
Yeah.
We're like 5 years behind.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of caught up now. I mean, Scottsdale's definitely, you know, turned a corner. But
Yeah.
back in 2005, we were writing contracts on hoods of cars using carbon copies. So you'd have like the white copy,
Yep.
go
Yep.
to the buyer.
Here you
and
go.
have to,
Here's your receipt.
yeah.
you know, drive the other copies
Yeah,
over to
yeah.
the other brokerage,
Yeah.
you know, because fax machines were all fucked up. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you
for
fax
sure.
them,
Yeah.
but, you know, I mean,
Yeah, you
you're
sent
like,
it to a car dealership.
did you get my fax? Yeah, did you get my fax? You know, and
Yeah.
so we're having to fax offers in and stuff like that. And, you know, the MLS book was a book. We
Yeah.
had books delivered to the office.
Crazy.
And so Flex MLS wasn't really what it is now. It wasn't really a usable tool. And we would literally have to call out of a MLS book and be like, hey, is that all, you know, that property still available to show?
Yeah.
Right.
And so it was so much different than it is now.
That's so crazy.
fun.
That's insane. I mean, like if half the people knew what, like they would,
Yeah,
half
they'd
the people
have to
doing
go
real
through it.
estate right now.
Oh, dude,
back
they got
then
it
they'd
so
never, not a
easy.
million years.
That
got
wasn't
it
that,
so
that was
easy.
15 years ago.
Right.
That wasn't that
Yeah.
long ago.
No.
You know, so
No.
it just shows you how far real estate can still go.
Sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
We're not
for
even
sure.
mature.
And we're still so behind the industry of
Yeah.
real estate in general, right?
Massive
We
behind.
talk about this all
Yeah.
the time. It's
Yeah.
like we're like every other industry, we got to be at least 10 years behind every other
Yeah,
industry.
for sure.
You know, in terms
At
of
least.
technology and just everything,
at
right?
least.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
wild.
why it's so interesting to see the open doors and the offer pads and the Zillows. But you know, that's a whole other conversation. But it's
That's
like,
a
Well, it goes to show you how much opportunity there is
Right.
inside this industry,
Yeah.
right? It's an old school industry.
Yep.
If you look at the average age of agents, it's in the 50s,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Guys like you need to take this shit over
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
for sure.
you think differently. You're not
Oh,
bound
yeah.
by limitations. Everybody that's 60 years old, 70 years old, they think in a box.
Yeah. Yep.
And you can't do that, especially in this industry. They're dealing with very, very large transactions with a shitload of money.
Right.
Do you guys know how much real estate was sold in 2019?
I
in
actually
Phoenix?
don't. No.
70 billion with
Wow.
a B in Phoenix Metro alone.
Wow.
That's just one market.
70
That's insane.
billion.
Billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a ridiculous
And
amount.
really, probably
That
only
is-
what, a couple thousand agents did all that did the majority of that volume.
Yeah, I can pull the stats for you, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think probably about 1,000 agents did
Yeah.
like 90% of that business.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so they always talk about the 80-20
Oh, yeah,
rule.
for
Yeah,
sure.
for
It's
sure.
like the 95-5 rule.
Yeah,
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
for
it's
sure.
like,
Sure,
yeah.
And there's 70,000 agents in Arizona.
It's insane how many agents, but
unbelievable.
they're not agents.
No, no,
Let's
no,
just
no,
be
no.
honest.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
call
for
for what
sure.
it is.
They're not
Yeah.
agents. We have another business
Yeah.
partner. His name is Brendan Gray. He's a great guy in our real estate company, and we'll buy like agent data in different metropolitan areas. We bought like agent data in Vegas and a couple other places. I never really thought much about this 70,000 number until I saw agents in other areas. He's like, dude, there's 4,000 in the state of Nevada.
Yeah. It's a little
To put it
different.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's wild.
unbelievable.
That's
Yeah, it's
definitely
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
So why real estate then? Out of everything,
Money, honestly. It was
Money.
the money.
Just chasing the money.
And I chased the money for a long time, and I realized it was the wrong thing to do.
Okay.
And so what happened was, you know, you get very attracted to the money, you get attracted to that lifestyle. You're like, oh, you know, I see Ryan Serhants and I see all these guys killing it. you know, and you're like, yeah, I want that lifestyle. I need that lifestyle, and it attracts you. But the problem is when you have the money, the motivation goes away. And you know this as soon as you start coming into some cash. You're like, I'm not motivated anymore. Like, what's going to keep me going? And my purpose has changed substantially. As you guys know, I got, diagnosed with diabetes and skin cancer about 2.5 years ago, and still fighting it. You know, I had to do immunotherapy last year, and you realize that there's different things in life, and it's not just about money. Money can be used as a tool to help other people and cause good things to happen. It can be influence. You know, it can help motivate people. I mean, for me, who was stuck in a massive depression, and I'm looking at guys just killing it. I'm like, I want to be like that. Yeah. And that was a good thing to do because, it pulled me out of that funk. It gave me a purpose in the short term. Money is a short-term goal. It can never be a long-term goal. So people that are watching that, you have to take that to heart.
That's a big one.
I like that because we were just talking about it actually with John previous episode. And actually we talk about it with every single one of our guests. It's that comparison factor, right? But majority of the time that we're talking about it, we're talking about it in a negative connotation where what you just said was a positive connotation in saying, hey, I was negative initially, right? And I'm looking at somebody else, and that actually inspired me. Didn't put you more down in the hole. It inspired you to get out of that hole and go make something happen. So I think that was kind of interesting.
1,000,000% and 100%. And to add on to that, I think a lot of people actually say, like, I was talking to somebody the other day. I was having a drink with somebody, I think, at a bar, and they were like, what initially drove you to do what it is that you're doing? And when I like really thought about it, like, don't get me wrong, I've been in Nicaragua, I've given back, and I've all these amazing things. Like, if I'm being honest, it was the money. I wanted to be wealthy. I wanted to be wealthy, right? And I think a lot of people are afraid to say that. For sure. So when you ask a lot of people, they're like, oh, I wanted to feed the starving children. It's like, no, I think you acquired that after you got, not 100%. All the time. There are people out there that have like a really good heart, and it just so happened that, their purpose led them to a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But it's not normally the case. Normally, people, these entrepreneurs, they want to be wealthy.
The lifestyle gets you in.
Right.
But once you hit that goal, you're like, what's next?
For sure.
And money doesn't mean as much when you have it.
Sure.
It's a little weird, right? So, you have to find a different purpose to keep you going.
I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
That was cool,
so
dude.
the real estate industry is what drove you. You had the money, and which makes all the sense in the world. It's the most time-tested, proven industry, which is why I love doing real estate, interviews where we're mostly talking about real estate because we do real estate. And it's just like, literally, statistics show 9 out of every 10 self-made millionaire and billionaire did so originally through real estate.
Without a doubt. And I think there's so much opportunity because the numbers are so big. We're talking about a 70 billion.
I mean, of course.
In one market, right?
Unbelievable.
That's insane. Absolutely insane. And when you talk about 1,000 people driving, 70 billion in sales. So when
on another level.
When people come to me and they're like, hey, I want to be a real estate agent, but I know it's saturated. I'm like, it's saturated with people that don't know what they're doing.
Of course.
And so my purpose as a broker is to teach people how to do shit. Teach people how to be successful.
I love it.
But bigger than that, you offer a lot of value. Value never goes out of style. So what I mean by value is like, if you're a real estate agent out there and you're trying to kill it, offer value in terms of like, maybe I should be a good negotiator. Maybe I need to be the expert on a certain submarket. Maybe it's Old Town Scottsdale. Maybe it's the condo market in Old Town Scottsdale. You have to know everything about that little niche. And that's how you're going to make money. You don't make money by knowing, Phoenix Metro. You can't know Phoenix Metro, but focusing on that little niche and you make a lot of money that way.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So that would be a good, your best tip probably for a brand new agent just looking to get into the business. Figure out your niche, determine your niche and provide value.
Yeah, because what happens is you're like, I'm ready to go fucking kill it. Where do you sell real estate? Everywhere. I sell it in Phoenix. I sell it in Glendale. I'm going to go to freaking, Sun City. And then I'm going to go down to Queen Creek. I'll go to Florence.
Apache.
I don't care.
Right. I'll get on an airplane.
And I'm like, dude, it ain't going to happen because you don't have that kind of marketing dollars. It's a saturated market that big. But what you do have is enough power, enough influence to probably a small sub-market of that.
Right? For sure.
Don't go macro, go micro. And that's it instinctively doesn't feel right. Because you're like, I need to do business everywhere. No, you need to do business in a very, very small area that's very concentrated. So you have that penetration. The only reason why lasers work, it's a small, very concentrated area. Be a laser.
I love that. That's incredill. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's really good.
Did you go to college? You went to college, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. 4 years.
4 years of college.
What'd you go for?
Finance, accounting, and international business. Nothing to do with real estate.
Does it help you?
You know what? It changed my mindset.
Okay.
It cultured me. It cultured me because when I came out of high school, I was very immature. And originally, people don't know this, but I joined the Marine Corps.
Okay.
I joined the Marine Corps as a delayed entry program. And The only reason, I haven't told many people the story. This is pretty interesting. So the only reason I actually took the SATs is because my mom bribed me.
Okay.
I think she was like, I'll give you $100 if you go take the SAT.
Done.
Yeah,
Sign
done
me
deal.
up.
And so back in the day, you know, I don't know what the SAT scores are now. I think it's much more, but the number one, it was like a 1600 was the perfect score.
Yeah.
And I got like a 1410.
Okay.
And I applied to one school.
Yep.
And if it wasn't getting in that one school, I'm shipped out.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, my ship date was in August. I'm like, fuck this place, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I got the letter back in the mail. It was like, you're accepted.
Wow.
I'm like, holy shit, I guess I'm going to
Yeah.
college. You know? And so a couple of my boys, you know, they were going to St. Bonaventure, and that's the only reason that I went down there was because I had a couple of friends that went. Otherwise, I would not have gone to college. Completely different lifestyle. I never would have made it out of New York, by the way.
For sure.
For sure.
But it changed your mindset, you said? Like it changed the way you looked at things?
Yeah, because you're exposed to different cultures. You're exposed to different people from different parts of the country. You have the ability to expand your mind through different thinking. I don't know if it's for everybody.
Right.
100%. Like some people, it's just not built for that, you know? And I think it was a good, rewarding experience for me personally. But given today and how much knowledge there is easily accessible, I think there's other ways to be successful.
Right.
And so you don't need to go to college to get an education. Like I learned Google AdWords, which is something where I make most of my money on, by the way, on fucking Udemy.
Wow.
I paid $25 for the course because I think it was on sale.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
50% off course.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And now we're killing it on Google AdWords, right? And so now I do Google AdWords for other companies too, not just mine. And so, you know, it became a stream of revenue over and over and over again. I'm like, dang, that's valuable stuff. And you can't go to college for Google AdWords.
Right.
You know, I mean, you just can't do it.
No, you can't.
So you have to understand, like,
it's like somewhat like emotional intelligence. Like you got to know the right people and you got to get connected and you got to
intelligence. Emotional Intelligence 2.0 was a great book, by the way.
Yeah.
For those
I've
of
never
you
read
guys
that.
listening.
Emotional Intelligence 2.0.
Absolutely.
2.0.
Well, who's it by?
Gosh,
Do you know?
it's
It's all
my
good. Yeah,
audible.
I'll look it up. I'm sure you just Google it.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And there's 2 or 3 books that with that name. It's the one with the more reviews.
For sure. For sure. So talk to me about the brokerage, right? You have 70 agents, you know, what is, I mean, like you look at the Home Smarts, the EXP Realties, the freaking Russ Line Sotheby's, right? I mean, like all over the country, you know, you got these massive, just behemoth brokerages, you know, a lot of them, I won't say names. Some of them are outdated. They're old school. Old people, just like dinosaurs, and they're charging too much money.
Dude, I want to say
the
names.
fees, right? I know, right? It's like, you know, but like, what's your kind of mission in that? Because obviously it is a competitive deal, right? I mean,
hyper competitive.
You got to get an agent to say, okay, you know, I want to be with Kenneth James instead of EXP Realty, where I could freaking, you know, join a meeting in the cloud. You know, how do you like combat that?
It goes back to value, what we talked about before. So you have to offer a lot of value. And my value proposition is that we do the marketing for the agents, right? I'm an expert digital marketer. Well, you talked about exactly emotional intelligence. I understand how people operate. I understand what motivates people to take action. I understand where the people are, how they, you know, what intent-based marketing is. I know how to do retargeting ads. I know how to do digital marketing on a whole different scale, a whole different level than any other broker, and I'll put them, you know, like that's a challenge.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Everybody else
for
knows
sure.
better than I do.
Yeah, let's roll.
You heard it
Reach
here
out
first.
to me.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. But no, seriously, like, and I'm not trying to be cocky at all. I'm just literally, I've studied it.
Right.
You know what you know.
It's a science, you know, and it's like, it's not even an art, it's a science because it's all numbers driven.
Yeah.
I can read people's behavior by numbers.
Yep.
And so I can look at an advertisement and be like, that one hit, this one didn't. You know, let's move our money over. I can make those adjustments very, very easily. And, you know, we generated 1,000 leads for our agents, 961
Okay.
last month for our agents.
70 agents local here in
Do you know your
Yeah.
conversion rate on those leads?
It's just over 1%.
Okay.
Which sucks.
I mean, it's not horrible though when you're talking about real estate and the number. You know, the numbers are big enough to where.
Well, look at the ROI on it.
Yeah,
so,
that's
you know,
what I
if
mean.
It costs, our average cost right now is about $3.46 per lead. So if it takes 100 leads, it's $346.
Yep.
If my commission's $7,500,
That's what I'm talking about.
20 times ROI.
Right.
Yeah.
No brainer.
Give me another industry you
course.
can do that in.
You can't do it.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there may be porn.
Sure.
Yeah,
but
for
like,
sure.
come on.
But no,
you know?
realistically, you can't do it in any other industry, and you can't repeat it over and over and over again. Where this is very, very scalable.
Yep.
And so, like, my idea here is to always have systems, and a system is defined by a couple different things. Number one, it's got to be scalable.
Okay.
It's got to be repeatable.
Okay.
And it's got to be trainable.
Scalable,
Those
repeatable,
three
trainable.
things don't exist. You do not have a system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
for
So
sure.
you have to build systems, and that's one of the things that we did at Ken James Realty that is different.
Yep.
We have marketing systems. We have lead follow-up systems. You know, we have repeat business systems. We have referral business systems that are scalable, repeatable, and trainable.
Yeah.
And so that's what we
huge.
give people. And so
I
we
love
do the
it.
marketing for the agents. You should not be, if you're an agent, you should not be doing the marketing.
Right.
You should not be doing the admin.
Yep.
You should not be doing a lot of that follow-up. You need to outsource that shit.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is like $80 to $100 an hour work.
Yep.
You know, the lead generation and stuff like that. The $1,000 an hour work is selling property.
Selling the house.
Leverage yourself.
Yep.
If you're spending time doing transaction management, you're in the wrong area.
For sure.
And you need to act as if you are going to do 10 million this year.
Right.
You know, so spend the money. Fuck.
Yep.
A lot of people don't want to spend money and they don't want to
they
invest
won't.
in their business.
No.
Yeah.
And they're worried about $300 a month because like my car payment's fucking $280
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
Kia.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, look, if you want to drive a Mercedes, you want to drive a McLaren, you want to drive a Lambo, you have to invest the money.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's going to
for
come
sure.
back to you.
For sure.
But you got to trust your systems.
But but your average
Yeah.
agent out there is not a business owner. It's a hobby for them. Like they're not treating it like a business. So they're already right
It's
off
their
the bat.
excuse to say entrepreneur.
Exactly right off the bat. They're setting themselves up for failure. I mean, like
100%.
you see what I'm saying? Is that they don't even know what time they wake up in the morning, and when they do wake up, they have no idea what they're doing that day.
No.
Right. They have no
clue.
purpose. They just literally bump into
Just
deals
wing
by
it.
accident.
They just wing it.
Yeah, for sure.
You
It does
know?
not happen by. If you want
Yeah.
success, it's not going to
No.
happen by accident.
No.
You have to
Yeah.
have a plan. You have
Yeah.
to
For sure.
execute relentlessly every fucking day.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
For
Wake
sure.
up, visualize
wild.
it, and execute.
You do.
Period.
That's
You do.
crazy.
100%.
And that's powerful, dude. Just because, I mean, I don't know what your goal is with Kenneth James Realty, but I mean, you know, we always talk about, you know, rather than, you got to have systems and processes, but systems, you got to be, rather than sponsor dependent, you got to be system dependent.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people, and I know I've learned the hard way, he's learned the hard way, I'm sure we've all learned the hard way, Justin's learned the
Yeah,
hard way,
yeah.
in that you can't be just sponsor dependent because then you work like a workforce, but there's nothing ever is duplicatable. You know, you can't sit a Carl in a different room 100 times a day because you'll croak over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could probably do it because you're Superman, but
Yeah.
me on the other hand, I'm out. You know what I mean?
There
But
ain't no
what you
way.
can do is you can duplicate a system multiple millions of times a day,
Yes, you
depending
can.
on how good the system is. You know, so
Absolutely.
but I think that allows you to scale from 50 to 70 agents because it didn't require a lot of legwork on your end. It makes all sense in the world on how you're
Agents
able
are coming to you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, up until now, all the growth has been organic. So what
Right.
happened on Monday? Today is what, Thursday?
Yep.
What happened on Monday was actually we hired two full-time recruiters for the first time, and so we've got a full-time recruiter here in Arizona and another one in Colorado. And so I'm going to hold off on Florida. Miami's a tough market, by the way. Miami's it's 50,000 agents in Miami. We're talking
Really?
about 70,000 agents
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Arizona. 50,000 just in Miami.
Wow.
And we talked about
Yeah.
Miami money. That's
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
money.
For sure.
But in Arizona, you know, it's kind of interesting. It's a little bit softer market. Colorado's softer than Arizona.
Yeah.
And so we've got two full-time recruiters. All they do all day is just hit the phones,
Yep.
follow up, make
Just like that.
make those connections, build those relationships, and start to bring people to the
I love it.
brokerage that are going to add value to the brokerage.
Which you got to have at this point, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
know that
have
the different brokerages out there, they have recruiters, and
Yeah, of
that's how
course.
they stay where they're at, or slash like get bigger and actually grow and
yeah,
evolve. You know,
absolutely.
you're not gonna. I mean, you can't close every agent on why they should be at Kenneth James. At some point, right, you got to focus on running the company and building the systems and
it goes back to
processes.
what I just said. You have
Yeah.
to outsource that.
Sure,
You know, I shouldn't do
100%.
that, so.
Delegation is key.
Yep,
100%.
for
So where do you see Kenneth James Realty in the next 3 years, 5 years? Where do you see Kenneth James Realty also, and then where do you see real estate as a whole?
Okay, so let's start with Kenneth James Realty. We're in the top 4%. I pulled the statistic because our 6-year anniversary is on Saturday. And so I just want to see where we're at. We're in the top 4% of brokerages in Arizona currently, which is decent, right? I want to be number one.
For sure.
And it's probably my ego. Let's just be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, and not that I have a huge ego, but everybody's got an ego.
Oh, yeah.
And you have
course.
to, you know, you want to accomplish those goals. And I think I can become the best brokerage in Arizona by a couple different metrics. Number one, just happiness with our agents. I think that's the most important metric.
Yeah.
But number two, volume per agent. I think I can do that. And the reason we're doing that is because we do a lot of the marketing for the agents. And so
Yeah.
they should be more productive per agent, you know, per year
Yep.
than any other brokerage.
Which should equal higher retention.
Yeah, we've had a ton of, our retention rate is like 99%. We've
Yeah.
lost one agent in the last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
One agent.
Yeah.
So
And a higher retention with more volume per agent, you know, more success. They don't want to leave, right? They
Yeah.
don't want to,
Yeah.
you know, the numbers are all, everything just looks and feels better. Automatically, people are happier.
for sure. And the culture is there.
Yeah.
And that's what's so important because people are drawn, you know, health, wealth, relationships,
Yep.
right? And those
For
are
sure.
the three things that people are always drawn to. I want to hit them on all fronts. So, you know, we talk about health,
Yeah.
you know, the diabetes and the skin cancer, taking care of your body. You absolutely need to do that. The wealth is obviously the money, but the relationships is that culture that I
Yeah.
bring to
Yeah.
Kenneth James Realty. And
I
so I'm
love
very,
that.
very aware of all
Yeah.
three arenas.
Yeah, that's cool. And I've
that.
seen that. You know, like just how you say you watch us, we watch you, right? I know, you know, we've seen, I watched Josh, like we were talking about Josh Zuniga, right? Obviously in a good way. Josh, if you're listening, you know, but like I've seen these higher, like what do I want to call them? They're they're very aware human beings. They're very talented people.
Yes.
You know, gravitate towards Kenneth James, which is a statement in itself.
Thank you.
You know, because it's one thing to be a brokerage or a team or whatever and attract the low hanging fruit, and it's another thing to attract people that are talented.
Yeah.
And that's what our model does, because it is $249 a month.
Right.
You know, so you can go to another brokerage. I'm not going to name any names.
Sure.
Where it's $25 a month. You can hang your license for as long as you want. There's no quotas. There's no accountability. There's no direction. There's no training. That is fine for the part-time agent. I don't want that agent.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, I want the agents that are ready to invest into their business.
Yeah.
That are willing to spend the money. It's a different mindset.
For sure.
Yeah. So, you know, we are attracting better talent.
Right.
Really what it comes down to.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure. I love it. And then where do you see real estate in the next, I don't know, you know, let's actually do like the next year. And is the demand just strong because people, you know, because it's Arizona, but it also makes you wonder, like, what about the rest of the country? Because people want to live here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about a little while ago, you know, how Arizona, like, you know, when COVID, with the Airbnb stuff, right? Like people wanted to be in
They
Arizona.
wanted to
here.
live here, dude.
Then they come here, they realize how great it is. They end up buying. You know, the demand's
Or
high.
renting, yeah.
So people are buying. But yeah, it does make you wonder where we'll be.
Yeah, in terms of technology for 5 years, to get back to your other question here, you know, we have so far to go. And there's so many inefficiencies in this industry. It's the only industry that I know that is so inefficient. Like if you look at the agents, there's no structured training for agents right now. Like if you can go to any company and they generally have a somewhat of a training course, but there's no course where you have to get like certified. There's no certifications. You have like your MBA, whatever we call it, of the Realtor, you know, Academy, but that doesn't teach you a lot of things. It's like, you know, how do you negotiate? How do you, you know, add a lot of value to the consumer? And I think the agents that figure out how to add value to the consumer will be the ones that survive.
Yeah.
The brokerages that can figure out how to add value and not just discount your rates, right? But like actually bring in real marketing to the company,
Right.
And say, hey, look, you know, Bobby seller and Bobby buyer, you know, we're going to negotiate on your behalf, but bigger than that, we're going to really market to find, you know, the right buyer for your property, and we're actually going to add a lot of value, you know, that way. And I think it's going to come back down to media.
Yeah.
Media's going to change the game, man. If you can figure out, if you're a media company in real estate, you're going to kill it. If you're an old school company that, you know, relies on their agents to just sell shit randomly, then you're completely
So
fucked.
really, you need to be a marketer.
Yeah.
Is
gotta
what
be a
I'm
marketer.
hearing. Like
100%.
you're not. I mean, yeah, sure. Like real estate just happens to be the vehicle, but you got to be good at marketing.
Yeah, so bigger than that, and what you kind of hit on, you nailed it, right? So, you know, technology is great for the transactional side, you know, and there's some inefficiencies there. Like we can't even, you can go out and buy a, you know, $400,000 car. I literally, when I bought my Rolls Royce, I walked into the dealership. I spent 8 minutes in the dealership, and I had keys.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you can't, I can't buy $100,000 house in under
60
5
days. Like it's like,
for sure.
And that's if you're like all cash. But it's like if you got to get a loan and stuff. I mean, you're.
Oh, dude.
I can go buy a Rolls Royce with I got a loan for it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't ask me for any financials. They didn't ask me for bank statements. They pulled my credit and they're like, all right, Carl's good for it.
You're good to
Sign
go.
here, buddy.
Sign here, you're
Have a
good.
nice day.
Yeah,
And I'm
here's
out
your
of there in
payment.
5 minutes. Yes. And so, you know, trying to buy a $100,000 house, I'm well qualified. I can't do that.
Right.
It takes me 30 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, there's a lot of inefficiencies in title, a lot of inefficiencies.
Yep.
The mortgage market is fucked up.
Oh,
It's fucked.
Yeah.
And it's
Always
so
has been
frustrating.
for a long time.
You know, so you're trying to tell me I can go out and buy a $400,000 car, but I can't buy a $200,000 house?
Yeah.
Fuck off. For
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like,
And
kidding.
they're raising the requirements right
dude,
now.
the rate on my car was less than it is on my house.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's messed up.
Yep.
Right? And so there's so many inefficiencies there. And so if somebody can figure out how to put that shit together, they'll be fucking rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is too is that technology is great, like we said about the transaction. You know what starts relationships? Media. Media. This shit
Yep.
Yeah.
starts
Right here.
relationships.
Yeah.
So these viewers right now are getting to learn who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You're building your brand. And so a lot of companies don't understand this. And they're like, we're a tech company. We're a tech company. We have a virtual office.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoop-de-fucking do. You
Yeah.
know why? Because I'm going to smoke you on the media side. I'm going to take all your clients.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then your technology isn't worth shit.
Anything.
Yeah.
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 Period.
100%.
And that's the savage of me coming out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No,
I
but
like
it's
it.
it's like having a good video with a bad thumbnail.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
like, dude, you could have the most fire video in the world if nobody clicks on it.
It doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
No matter.
yeah, they're not going to find
It
you.
doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, you got to tell people about the product that you
100%.
have.
Yeah.
100%.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love that, and I think you're absolutely right. I think people need to, more of the more people need to come in and have new good ideas essentially in the real
without
estate
a doubt.
industry. I mean, like,
We're past due, man.
Right.
We're past due.
right, for
Yeah,
sure.
This is an old industry.
And I think a lot of people get out of the industry, right? And which I think will be good. I think the big brokerages, the big teams, they'll survive because they have the money to market.
Yes.
That's the other part of it, right? Your individual solo agent that's not a part of a brokerage that helps them and is not a part of a team that helps them. They don't have the money to mark because they can't be a marketer and an agent and a transaction coordinator and a it's like, you know,
Right.
right?
That's why teams work so well, because you've got a dedicated marketing person, you have a dedicated transaction manager. What they did was specialization, what I talked about before, the outsource, right?
Yeah.
They find the right people for the role, and that's why teams are so successful. And that's where the industry is headed in the future. They're like mini brokerages inside brokerages.
Yeah.
And so they have that, you know, the ability, that flexibility too, to kind of, you know, tweak that business plan and be marketers, you know, and so smart.
Yeah.
It's very
No,
smart.
it really
I
is.
like that.
Yep.
I'm going to deter this just
Yeah,
quick,
for sure.
quick. I only think we only have a couple
more minutes,
I would,
but it's
I
all
would
good.
imagine. So what time do you wake up in the morning, bro?
Dude, I'm up at about 5:30, 5:45.
Okay.
You know, and so
Have you always been that way?
No. I used to wake up. Dude, I was a nightclub. You guys don't know this. I was a nightclub DJ for a long time.
I didn't know that.
And so I would work until 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd sleep until like noon.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'd wake up and I'd be like, holy shit, it's noon.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know? And you know, I'd be at the gym at like 9 o'clock before my gig.
Yeah.
But no, now it's completely opposite. I wake up at 5:30. You know, I do about 30 minutes of reading. The first thing I do is I actually pick up my Kindle
Okay.
and I read.
Okay.
I love
That's
it.
the first thing. Because
What are you reading right now?
So actually, right now I'm reading Donald Miller's one-page marketing plan.
I love
it is.
it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's amazing, dude. It's talking about building a sales funnel in the shit that we're talking about right
Yeah.
now. It's literally marketing and media
love it.
and building a message, building your story brand and stuff like that. So that's a very, very powerful book.
There's
So-
bombs here, by the way, guys. If you're watching and
That's
listening, he
trust.
does not look at his phone when he wakes up in the morning for 30 minutes. He he picks up his Kindle, which I guarantee doesn't have a text message notification on
it
that
does
bad
not.
boy.
No,
Right?
and it sits right next to my bed.
Yeah.
It's always plugged in, and literally that's the first thing I do. And then I start getting into my day, and so I do a lot of visualization. What does my day look like? I look at my calendar and say, okay, you know, I got to go to Austin's show, you know, at 4 o'clock. How much stuff do I need to accomplish before that?
Yeah.
I do something called my Power 5, which I literally stole from Andy Frisella. And it's the 5 things in my day that are going to move me towards my goal. And so those get done first. A lot of people make mistakes. They get the urgent shit done first, and they leave the important shit to the side.
Yeah.
So you got to do it the other way around. You got to do the important stuff first.
Yep.
Fuck everything else.
Yep, for
You know,
sure.
And there are very few emergencies that can't be dealt with later. And so time block your day. Protect your time no matter what. Don't let my ringer's off 95% of the day. People don't realize that. It's literally, you won't find my phone. It's not on my person. Right? And so it's so important to dedicate time, very focused energy to what you're doing. 100% focused. Multitasking is complete bullshit.
No, it'll kill you.
It's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I like
Hire
that.
somebody to multitask for you.
Yes,
right.
of course.
That's what
Outsource that
an
shit.
admin's for. You know, get them, and they're great at it. You know, and that's
for
their
sure.
job, and that's their role, and they're good at that. You know, and
you need that.
and you need that, and they
It's
need
an
that
important
job,
role.
and they enjoy that, right? And it's a win-win.
In understanding that there's people out there that are better than you that
For sure.
at everything.
Yeah.
They're better marketers than
Right.
me. You know, there are better admins than me. They're better transaction coordinators than me. There's better real estate agents than me.
Yeah.
In understanding, how do I hire that person?
Right.
Yes,
For sure.
I like
And then be able to delegate, right? As an entrepreneur,
You got to
be able to
delegate.
hand
Guys,
that off.
You have to hand it off. You can't do it all. A lot of you thinking
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now
for sure.
Yeah.
are like,
Do it all.
no, I can't
Yeah.
afford to outsource that right now. Trust me on this.
Yeah.
You know, I was in that loop too, where literally you're going to burn out. You talk about burnout, you're going to burn out. And you just can't do it all. You have to outsource.
And even if they're like, what, 60, 70% as good as how you do it at 100%, but it's like you get 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
Dude, you're killing it.
It's
Yeah,
2 or
160,
300% better than you would
Yeah.
you'd have done it at 100%.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think a lot of people forget about that. And everybody struggles with that, right? It's like, oh man, I would have done that better. Yeah. But you wouldn't have done what you were doing over there if you were doing that better.
I think you need to say that again.
Right.
So you said very directly, if you have 2 or 3 people that are operating at 60% of what you are, you're still more efficient.
100%.
You're still more efficient.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so you have to understand those numbers.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
I love that. Ladies and
Let's look
gentlemen,
at it.
this is Karl, the real
Dude.
estate stud.
Unbelievable.
The gangster of all gangsters, the superstar of all superstars.
Yeah, I love it, dude.
On
But it's
the
like,
A&A show.
we haven't
This
had
is
a ton of real
incredible,
estate
bro.
people. It's incredible.
Yeah.
We could probably
Of
probably do
course.
round 2 eventually
Round
on
two
this
for
one,
sure.
for sure.
Done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's just rock and roll. Where
like
can people
that.
find you?
Dude, Instagram is out. I actually respond to every single comment. So go back and look at some of my
love
videos.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
1,500 comments. There's
Yeah.
1,500 replies.
Yeah.
And so it's just Karl_Freund.
Perfect.
And
U before the
hit me up
E or
on
the E
Insta.
before the U?
FREUND.
Okay. Okay.
Put that shit in the
Cool.
description.
Yeah, we will. We're going to
Yeah,
put that
we
in the
will.
description.
We certainly will. And go ahead and shoot him a DM. Tell him where you
Yeah.
guys came from. If you guys are on YouTube, man, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button on this video.
Leave us a review if you're on the
Come on,
podcast
if you are
app.
on podcast,
If you're
come
on Spotify, tell Joe Rogan we're next. You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
right. He closed the
Yeah.
$100 million deal. Me and Mr. Zaback are going to close
gotta
at
do
250. Let's do it, baby.
Let's rock and roll.
Karl, thanks
Hey,
for coming on the
appreciate
show.
having
Thank
you
you
on
so
here,
much.
brother.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Really.
Absolutely,
We'll
brother.
see you in the next one.
See you guys.